Hello students, welcome to Science Surfers. Today we are going to start the topic reaching the age of adolescence. In this chapter we are going to discuss about the transitional stage that occurs between childhood and adulthood and which is known as adolescence. So adolescence is the age of physical and mental human development that ultimately leads to sexual maturity. It is the period of life between 11 years and 19 years. Therefore, during this period, the adolescents are called teenagers. So, during adolescence, the body undergoes several changes and become capable of reproduction. So इस टाइम बॉडी में जो चेंजेस आते हैं वो धीरे धीरे बॉडी को एक सेक्सुअल मैच्योरिटी की तरफ लेके जाते हैं एंड दिस इज द एज वेयर द reproductive system start becoming functional. Okay, so this is the age of sexual maturity which is known as puberty. So puberty may be defined as the age of sexual maturity that occurs between 11 to 19 years. In girls, this age starts at the age of 10 years, whereas in boys, this age starts at the age of 12 years. Okay, so this is the age of puberty. Some important changes that take place during puberty are increase in the height, change in the body shape, the change in the voice, increased activity of sweat and sebaceous glands, development of sex organs, and reaching the mental, intellectual, and emotional maturity. Now we will discuss them one by one. Most prominent change that we observe during this age is increase in height. By the age of 11 years, a boy reaches about 80% of his height and a girl reaches about 88% of her height. Initially, the girls grow faster than boys. Sometimes the arms and legs they grow faster than the rest of the body, which give an awkwardness to the body. In boys, the shoulders become broader and the chest become wider due to faster growth of muscles. Whereas in girls, the breast begins to develop and the region below the waist become wider. So these are some of the physical changes which take place in the body shape. Then there is a change in the voice. During puberty, change in the voice takes place, and we have studied in chapter sound, the human beings have a voice box to produce sound. So in boys during puberty, this voice box or the larynx that become larger and show a swelling in the throat called Adam's apple. See, this is the swelling shown in the throat portion of the boys, which is known as Adam's apple. In females, the voice become highly pitched, means the increase in the frequency of the vibration of their vocal cords. Later, their voice becomes normal. Change that take place in the beginning of the puberty. During puberty, the secretion from sweat and sebaceous gland make the skin oily, and acne and pimples are commonly seen on the faces of teenagers. Okay, क्योंकि उनमें sweat और sebaceous sebum producing glands they become more active, so skin oily हो जाती है and that oily skin gets acne and pimple in most adolescents. So during puberty in boys, the testes and the penis develop completely and it start producing sperm. In girls, the ovaries develop completely and produce eggs. And their reproductive systems are well developed now, which prepare them for the process of reproduction. During puberty, boys and girls' mental, intellectual, and emotional development take place. They become more independent, self-conscious, and their way of thinking changes. So, उन्हें emotional changes आने शुरू हो जाते हैं. They start taking their own decisions, and their way of thinking also changes. Then secondary sexual characters start to appear in adolescence. In boys, different hair growth pattern is seen on the face and they develop their mustaches. And the hair also grow on their chest, armpits and pubic region. The testes start to produce sperms. In girls, their breasts develop and hair growth in armpits and pubic region take place. And most importantly, the ovary starts to produce eggs. And all these changes are controlled by chemical substances called hormones. And these hormones are produced by endocrine glands. In males, all the secondary characters are controlled by a hormone, that is testosterone, produced in the testes. The female hormone, which controls all the secondary characters, is called estrogen, which is produced in the ovary, and production of these hormones is under the control of another master gland, that is pituitary. Now let us revise some of the important points of the chapter. The transitional age between childhood and the adulthood is known as adolescence, right? Adolescence वो एज है जो एक चाइल्ड को एडल्ट में कन्वर्ट करती है. That is why it is known as a transitional age. Period of life that leads to sexual maturity. अब ड्यूरिंग एडोलेसेंस जिस फेज में सेक्सुअल मेच्योरिटी आती है उसको क्या कहते हैं? दैट इज नोन एज प्यूबर्टी. Okay. Acne and pimples are common due to increased activity of which glands? That is oil and sebaceous glands. These glands become hyperactive during this period and they start secreting more oil and sebum, which leads to the production of acne and pimples. The hormone released by ovaries that leads to production of secondary sexual characters in females is known as estrogen, and in males the hormone that is released by testes is testosterone. During puberty, the larynx in boys grows out in the front of neck. So at the age of puberty, boys में जो उनका voice box या larynx है वो थोड़ा extra grow करता है and it protrudes out of the neck in the form of Adam's apple.